The increasing hostility towards migrants and refugees, especially in European societies, remains a hot topic here at the UN in Geneva. Monsignor Robert Vitillo called to mind Pope Francis, who has labeled the crisis a two-way street.
Pope Francis went on to insist that, I quote, collective and arbitrary expulsions of migrants and refugees are not suitable solutions, particularly where people are returned to countries which cannot guarantee respect for human dignity and fundamental rights.
On the occasion of the launch of a new publication on causes and consequences of migration today, the Geneva Center for Human Rights organized this panel at the UN in Geneva. The two themes, migration and human solidarity, and protecting people on the move. The head of the International Catholic Migration Commission spoke about the role of the Catholic Church.
Efforts also need to be made to prevent individuals from being constrained to abandon their families and countries, and to allow them to return safely and with full respect for their dignity and human rights. All human beings long for a better and more prosperous life, and the challenge of migration cannot be met with a mindset of violence and indifference, nor by offering merely partial solutions. First of all, the Catholic Church needs to teach about the situation of migrants, and also it needs to call attention in its teaching to the unique dignity of all people, including migrants, and then encourage people to respond in a just and fair and accepting way. For the International Catholic Migration Commission, we join many organizations and religious orders that specialize in care and service to migrants and refugees. We do that in a number of ways. One is that we form a network of Catholic organizations, and especially of the national bishops' conferences, in helping them learn about the migration situation. We also do it through advocacy, global advocacy, especially with the United Nations, advocating for just policies toward migrants and refugees. And then finally, we have our own humanitarian assistance programs. Many of those programs today are focused in the Middle East and also in Pakistan, where we still have large numbers of refugees needing help, both from humanitarian assistance and help in finding durable solutions like resettlement to other countries when they cannot return home safely or cannot be integrated within the countries of asylum.
The purpose of this panel was to assess the causes and consequences of forced displacement of people in Europe and across the Arabian region, and the reasons behind the fear surrounding the coming of migrants.
It's probably part of our sinful condition of original sin that people often are afraid of things that are different and of people who are different. And so I think that's part of the situation. But also I think there's been a major thrust in the world today, a kind of toxic rhetoric about migrants and refugees. Some of it comes from the terrorism that we face. There's also some political motivations by leaders who want to reject migrants and refugees in their countries. I think the antidote is to get to know migrants and refugees, and that's what Pope Francis encourages us to do.
Many states have signed the so-called Global Compact for Migration, which was designed to help orderly and lawful management of migrants. Still, there's a challenge to it being accepted and implemented.
I think that's another important role for the church and for organizations like ICMC to really monitor the implementation and to remind heads of state and other officials about their obligation, and then also to do our part in being sure that we welcome refugees and migrants in all parts of the world, and we offer them decent living conditions and peaceful environments.
Solutions are obviously hard to find. While on a political level, debates about how to best address the crisis continue, the Holy See is trying to insert the humanity and dignity of migrants back into the discussion.